It's finally time to share the secret. Oh my god, I'm so excited to finally be making this video and being able to share this. Which the news, of course, is that I have gotten another book deal. I sold what you have known on this channel to be hashtag haunted house book, which you can now know the title that I kept secret because I was worried about people stealing it because I love it so much. And it's Butcherbirds. And so Butcherbirds is coming out in 2023 and I'm so excited. I just like so excited. I will, if you haven't seen the deal announcement, I will now read it to you. And maybe I'll put a little graphic somewhere. I don't know, we'll see what I feel like. So, Sarah McCabe and Margaret K. McElderry slash S&S has acquired in an exclusive submission in a 6-figure deal Butcherbirds by Liselle Sambury, author of the forthcoming Blood Like Magic. In this standalone YA, a reluctant 17-year-old Media must confront the ghosts, both literal and figurative, of her mom's past when an inherited mansion in Northern Ontario is not as idyllic as it would seem. And in a parallel timeline years later, a budding investigative journalist attempts to uncover what happened to her. Publication is slated for 2023. Kristy Hunter at the Knight Agency negotiated the two-book deal for world English rights. So, yes, Butcherbirds is coming. It's a 2-book deal, but Butcherbirds is a standalone book, so the second book will also be a standalone. The one that comes in 2024. Yeah, I'm so excited. This book, it's got spooky houses, it's got a lot of psychological suspense, it's got complicated mother-daughter relationships, it has, I try to think of all the things. Oh, it has a boy next door who is a medium, and not a medium. He is kind of a medium. He is a psychic. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. And so the plant aesthetic is wild in this book. It is all the plant aesthetics. It's so funny. Because when I had started this book, I really knew like very little about plants, and all the plants I had I killed. And through writing this book and this character, I've like, as you can see, I've become a plant fanatic. So that's a thing that happened. But I'm just like, I'm so very excited. Butcherbirds is so personal to me. It really is. It's set in Northern Ontario where I now live. And I just can't wait for you to meet my thorny girls because they are oh so thorny. Now I can take you through the journey. The great thing about Butcherbirds is the first book that I've written completely on Authortube. So from beginning to like where we are now is completely documented on Authortube. I've made a playlist over here called Butcherbirds. So if you want to see the journey from the very start through the writing vlogs I've done, you can watch that whole thing. I actually watched through almost all of them. I think I missed like one vlog because it was so many hours of content. But I watched through all of them just to kind of see what that was like. And I was so appreciative of having that to look back on. Like, it's so amazing to see myself and to see like the mindset I was in and like things I was thinking about, and just seeing that whole progression happen is so amazing, because when you get to the end of a project, you don't always like, it's really hard to remember what that was like in the beginning. But this story came to me because I really wanted to write a horror. You'll notice in the announcement it's not really called a horror, and that's for many reasons, but it's because it's kind of a genre bending book. So like, I call it a horror, but it's not just that. It's a lot more than that, and there are a lot of different genres it kind of drops into, and so that's why it's like not really pinned down, because we don't really want to pin it down in that way, like marketing wise. But how it started is that's what I wanted to write. I wanted to write a horror. I wanted to write about a girl that was like obsessed with plants, and I knew that I was going to set it in Northern Ontario because I wanted that, like, that's a place that I know has big expanses of wilderness, and that's what I wanted. I wanted a house in like a big expanse of wilderness, and so that's really what I had wanted, and it just like, it came together. There's so many different things, like so many ways it changed also. Like in my earlier vlogs, you'll see I like talk about a monster, and then I later am like, okay, no monster. So that was a process. But essentially I wrote that. I honestly can't even remember dates. I'll flash up dates later on, but I wrote 20,000 words, and then I took like a break, and then I finished the book off for NaNoWriMo. So during NaNoWriMo, I wrote an additional 75,000 words. So this book was long from the start, which I didn't really want, but that's the way it ended up. And it's just like, it's all necessary. It all feels very necessary. I'm not sure if that'll change in edits, but that's how it felt. And I really like, I have to give it up for my agent, Kristy Hunter, because basically I like emailed her and I was like, hey, I want to write a horror, and kind of like, this is my pitch of what it's gonna be, and like, would you be interested in that? When I had never mentioned wanting to write in that genre before. And she was very much like, absolutely, send it to me. If it's in your voice, I'm sure I will really like it. So like, go for it, write what you want. And so I wrote it. I self-edited, and then I sent to some beta readers, one of which was our own Authortube, Lindsay Puckett, whose YouTube channel you should definitely check out. She just got an agent and she's like already on submission. It's amazing. She read it, and a couple other people, and I got their feedback, and I edited it. And then I sent it to Kristy, and I was like, I guess we'll see. All the while being like really nervous that she would be like, oh my god, no, I can't handle this, because like, yeah, there's a lot in this book. There's a lot in it. And she emailed me back and she was like, I absolutely love this. I absolutely love this. I think this is amazing. And it was just like the euphoria that like exploded from my body. I was just so happy that she loved it, and it really like it really boosted me up. I'd already been boosted up from like CPs and betas being like, wow, I really like this, but I was even more like, wow, like this could be something. And then we started edits on it, and we did I want to say like 4 to 5 rounds of edits on it. We edited it, and then it was like, I say edited it, I say it so weirdly. Anyway, so then it was done, and then I will talk all about like how the submission process was, and like what everything worked out, how everything was planned and how everything worked out. Here's a little rundown of publishing contracts. So you have a publishing contract for your books, and then you have an option. So the option clause basically says like, your next project that is X, you agree to show to the publisher first before you go on wide submission, for example. So my option for Blood Like Magic was for prequels, sequels, and spin-offs of Blood Like Magic. And I had talked with my agent about that, and I was like, I didn't have any ideas originally, and then I had some ideas, and me and my agent talked back and forth, and we kind of decided that it was better to go with a new project and see how Blood Like Magic performed. If it did really well and there was a lot of demand for like sequels and spin-offs and stuff like that, then we could submit that at a later time. But it was better to work on a new project, which is why I ended up working on my horror. And so because the horror wasn't an option, we technically did not have to show it to my publisher first. But of course we did, because it's my publisher and I really like them and I've had a great experience with my editor. And so the idea of working with my editor again was appealing to me. And so we decided to give them an exclusive to read it. And that was set at 2 weeks. So it's like a pretty fast time period. And this is where it's so funny. I don't know, like, I clearly do not truly know my editor's taste, because you may or may not know this story, but when I was on sub with Blood Like Magic, my editor had bought my friend Ashley's book, A Dark and Hollow Start, which is an urban fantasy set in Toronto. And I was like, Sarah's not gonna buy another urban fantasy set in Toronto. No way. I was like, I guess Sarah's out the window. I would have really loved to work with her. Oh well. And then she bought it. So I didn't know anything. And so again, with this book, I was like, I don't know that Sarah's given me any indication that this is a book she would ever be interested in. So I don't really think this exclusive is gonna, you know, turn out the way I want it to turn out. But I guess we'll see. Shrug. I find it extremely unlikely that she will buy this. And then she bought it. So I just like don't know. So like, I'm gonna stop in the future. I'm gonna stop trying to guess, because I just don't know. But yeah, so we agreed to do this 2-week exclusive. I had written a pitch letter. It was very, very bad. My agent rewrote a very good pitch letter for us. And we sent that to Sarah. She wanted to see the full manuscript. And I was like, oh, really? Because again, in my head, I'm like, what? You have interest in this? Okay. And so we went ahead and we sent that off. And I was kind of like, I was anxious, because submission is always like, it's just submission, right? It's nerve-wracking, but I felt good because I was like, okay, I only have to suffer like this for like 2 weeks. And I was like, that's such a so short and blissful a time compared to like my submission for Blood Like Magic, which was 4 months. So I was like, okay, what else? I could definitely do 2 weeks. And then we got an email, faster than I expected, where Sarah was like, I really am liking this. I'm really, really enjoying this. And I would like other people to read the book. And I'd like to take it to our meeting, our editorial meeting. But she said, if we stay within the 2-week timeline that you have, I won't have enough time for other people to read it and for it to get to the board. And I want it to have the best chance possible, and it'll have the better chance if other people have also gotten a chance to read the book. And so me and my agent talked, and we were like 100% totally cool with giving an extension so that there's more time for her to read the book and be able to take it to the editorial board. And so we were like, okay, 100% totally cool, extended the deadline. And at this point I was like freaking out, because I was like, oh my gosh, that's second reads. I was like, we're going to second reads right now. Also, she wants to take it to the editorial board, so we're actually going to go to acquisitions. And it was just like, my mind was blown, because I was like, this is so fast. I was like, this is faster than anything has ever happened for me. And I was like, wow, okay. And so yeah, so the second reads happened, and Sarah got back to us and she said, people on the team, the people that read the book, love it. They're so excited, and we're going to take it to the editorial board. But then I can't even remember what happened. Oh, it was the election. It was the election. It was the election on Tuesday where they were supposed to have the meeting. So then the meeting was canceled because of the election, but that was our deadline day. So then Sarah was like, can you extend the deadline again? And we were like, yes, we extend it. This is incredibly understandable. Like, this is like a unforeseen circumstance. So then the meeting was happening on the Thursday, and I just like, so to paint you a picture, this is happening in November. So it's like the beginning of NaNoWriMo that this is happening. And I'm trying, if you've seen my NaNoWriMo vlogs, you know that my NaNoWriMo for last year just like imploded. It just fell apart. And part of it was the reason I had said publicly, which was that I just like didn't have, I had lost a lot of passion for it. But part of it was I was freaking out because submission was like, things were happening and I was just like so distracted and things were happening so fast and I was like, I can't pay attention to this. Like I don't know what to do with myself. And so that was like definitely huge. But anyway, so Thursday came around, they had the meeting. I'm dying at home waiting to hear what has happened in this meeting. I'm like expiring. And then the offer came through. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. I was like, they want to buy it. And then my agent did the back and forth negotiation thing, of course. And I like, huge like kudos to my agent because like, she's awesome. And she like went to bat. She goes to bat for all of my books, but she really went to bat. And I was just like, oh, this is amazing, because I was not in the headspace to be like, oh, we want to ask for this and we want to ask for this. I was just like in euphoria of getting an offer. So yeah, it was just like there was back and forth, and then finally everything was settled. And it was just like, oh, we're done. We're done. In 3 weeks, we're done. This is over. And I just like, I still have no words for it. Like, it's just wild to me. It's wild to me. It just like, things went so fast. And yeah, so I feel like the fastest was a combination of two things, and the combination of things was that this was not my option. And so yeah, this was not my option. It was a completely different book. And the big thing here is that because Butcherbirds is so different from Blood Like Magic, this is why we could go out on submission with it so much earlier, because really oftentimes you can't sell a new book to your publisher until your first book is out, because they want to see your first book sales to decide whether or not they want to purchase another book or how much they want to purchase the other book for. And so in the case of like a third books, a lot of debut authors are waiting for their first book sales to come out before they're able to go through that sale process. But because I wrote in a completely different genre and a very, very different book, I think it's still my voice, it's still my style, it's still dark, it's still like got some funny bits, but it's just very different in tone. And like, as I said, this is like a very genre bending book, and Blood Like Magic is very firmly like urban fantasy and sci-fi, even though it's like a genre mix. Anyway, so it was just a very different sort of book. And so my sales on Blood Like Magic wouldn't have indicated what the sales would be like for this book, because it's so different. And that's why we could go on submission at the time that we went on submission. Hello, it's me. And also, I don't know if you can see, Bobo is down there. I don't know why she looks so afraid. She just looks super afraid for whatever reason. Anyway, I like wasn't going to do any sort of video stuff like during submission, because I was like, nobody needs to see you like panic. But then I was just like, I need to vent somewhere. And I really only vented to like one friend, because I was just like, oh, I can't like vent to, two friends technically, but I was like, oh, I can't vent to too many people. And now I'm just like, oh, I just need to get out my feelings. So my editor has my Haunted House book. And so basically the book is going to go to the editorial board. It's weird. I'm confused about like the editorial board and acquisitions. Like I thought acquisitions and editorial board were the same thing. Anyway, I'm getting caught up in minutia. On Tuesday next week, today is Friday, so Tuesday next week, someone in the publishing house is going to meet up and decide whether or not they're going to make an offer on the book. And so my editor should be done reading by now, but she said she's going to get some other people to read because like the publisher, I think she's going to get the publisher to read, which is like the head of the imprint, and then also like someone else to read. I can't remember who she says. And they're probably going to read the book on the weekend. So then they're going to be reading it this weekend. And then like they're going to all like, I guess, gather on Monday and like be like, yeah, we loved it. We should like try and buy it. Or they'll be like, oh, we didn't really like it that much. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. So we will see. I'm really, really hoping that things go well. Yeah, I'm really hoping that things go well. I've been trying to manifest. I'm also manifesting for Kevin from Kevin the Writer because he's on sub too. But I'm not going to manifest on Halloween because on Thirsty Thursday yesterday, Laura said that if you manifest on Halloween, it's bad. And I'm not even like that into manifesting, but I'm so in my head about the stuff thing that I'm like telling myself, reminding myself on Halloween I cannot think about the sub. Neither mine nor Kevin's. I just need to keep it out of my head. But it will be hard because I know they're going to be reading on the weekend and I really want them to love it. So yeah, that's where I'm at now. And yeah, I guess if things go well, I'll share this clip. And if things go badly, I probably won't. So my acquisitions meeting was this morning, or should have been this morning, according to no real source. It's just I know in general that acquisition meetings usually happen in the morning. I'm very stressed. I'm very, very stressed. Yeah, I'm very stressed. That's really all I have to say. I'm incredibly stressed. With Blood Like Magic, the offer came in at like noon on, it must have been a Tuesday. I don't even remember what the date was, but it must have been a Tuesday. Today's a Thursday because my acquisitions meeting was moved from Tuesday because of the election, which is still going on anyway, so it's still happening. But yeah, so we will be hearing back today. I know that for sure. And so it's just a waiting game. I'm trying to distract myself as much as possible so I'm not just panicking, but I am just panicking. So yeah, I'm gonna try and find some distractions and try and continue to have positive thoughts, and we'll see. I'm so excited to have been able to share the story of Butcherbirds with you. Again, I'll have over here and like link down below the playlist if you want to watch the whole journey of me like doing writing vlogs while I was working on that story on YouTube. I think it's awesome to be able to look back at those. But yeah, so that's coming in 2023. I am gonna make a video talking all about my author plans and my writer career plans after this, because the thing about when I got the deal is that I suddenly started working on very different projects. That was also the thing about the NaNoWriMo project, is I had been writing that. It was a sci-fi thriller. I'd been writing that in place of if Butcherbirds did not sell. And so when it sold, suddenly working on that also didn't make sense in that way. There are so many reasons that are like tied up in this deal for why my NaNoWriMo fell apart. But anyway, that's the thing. So I'm gonna make a video talking all about like basically how all the projects I've kind of been working on hodgepodge, it seems to me, or it feels to me this time, how that ladders up to my plan for my career and going forward, and now that I have this deal. So that'll be coming out soon. And yeah, I'm just so excited to be able to share this announcement with you. I think it was really nerve-wracking for me because I think I have an understanding that selling one book doesn't necessarily, or having one book deal doesn't necessarily mean that you were going to have another book deal. And so it was really scary for me thinking that, oh, could I sell another set of books? Like, is that a thing I could do again? When it feels like already so hard to have done it the first time. So that was really stressful for me, especially because I was documenting it on YouTube, and I was like, oh my gosh, like the additional stress of like failing publicly. Lindsay Puckett has a video about like failing publicly that's so good. I think you should definitely watch. And yeah, it was stressful. And then everything just happened so fast that I like truly didn't have that much time to dwell on it, to be honest. But I'm just so excited. I cannot wait to be able to share more about the book. Oh my god, when there's covers and stuff like that, that's gonna be so exciting. But yeah, so that's me booked up for till 2024. So I'm gonna have 4 books in the world. And that's so exciting for me. Yeah, that's it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!